So hello everyone, today our question is to construct the truth table for this statement. What is the statement? P and Q implies R. So first of all, we are going to take a look at the truth table for P and Q. Then we'll also see what is the truth table for P implies Q, and then we'll combine all that and then we'll construct the truth table for this particular statement. So we will now write the truth table for P and Q. So I'll write P, Q. Now P, we'll write it as FF, TT. Then Q, I will write it as FT, FT. Now P and Q. So both P and Q are false. P is false, Q is false. So P and Q, the truth value is false. Now P is false, Q is true. So once again the truth value is false. So P is true, Q is false. So here again the truth value is false. And both are true. So the truth value is true. So whenever we are using the operator and, that time you have to remember that unless and until both the truth values for the statements P and Q are true, then only the resultant is true. Otherwise, if both are false or one of them is false, then in that particular case the resultant is false, as you will see over here. So this is the truth table for P and Q. Now we are going to see the truth table for P implies Q. So this is our statement, P implies Q. Now we will write down once again the truth values for PQ. So F, false, false, true, true, false, false, true, false, true. Now this implies operator is a very interesting one. Okay, let's see why so. So P implies Q. Now P is false and Q is false. So false implies false. So this is true. Okay, I will also be giving you an example for this particular one. Now P is false, Q is true. Okay, so once again the value is true. Now these ones are a little tricky. First one is true, second one is false. So P is true but Q is false. In this particular case, the truth value is false. And if both are true, then obviously true. So to understand this a little better, let us take up one mathematical statement which will give you an idea of this P implies Q. So let me write one statement. If x is equal to 5, then, so P implies Q is basically like if then statement. So if x is equal to 5, then x square is equal to 25. Now you have to, we are going to break up these to this if then part. So what I am going to do, I am going to say P is x is equal to 5 and Q is x square is equal to 25. Now let us examine this truth table in the light of these two statements. Now first one, P is false. So x is not equal to 5, p is false. Q is false, so x square is not equal to 25. So true. X is not 5, so x square is not 25. Both these are false. Outcome is true. P implies Q is true. Now second statement, P is false. Okay, so that means x is not equal to 5. But Q is true. X square is equal to 25. The outcome is true. Correct. P implies Q. P is not 5. Implies Q is 25. That means x square is 25. Yes. So the outcome, what we are saying, is true. It is not the case. Now in the third case, C, P is true. Okay. So P is true. That means x is equal to 5. And Q is false. That means x square is not 25. So is this false? Just think about it and let me know what you think. P is true, so x is equal to 5. But Q is false, that means x square is not 25. So obviously it's not the case, so the outcome is false. Now last case is very easy to understand. That means both are true. So x is 5 and x square is 25. So obviously the outcome is true. Okay. So the tricky one in this particular case, if you ask me, is this one where we say that P is false, Q is true, and the outcome is true. The second one. Okay, we are looking at the second one. So see, let us say P is false. That means P is, let's say, x is equal to minus 5. So P is not 5. It is x is equal to 5. And Q is x square is equal to 25 is true. See, but even if x is equal to minus 5 and it's a false statement, but the value of x square is 25 and hence the outcome is true. So P implies Q. The resultant is true. So I hope you got this explanation for this particular part, which is P implies Q. Okay, now after this we are going to combine these two statements. That means now we are going to see the combination. So P and Q implies R. So I hope you got it, that we have seen the different combinations for P and Q, the truth table for P and Q, and then we have seen the truth table for P implies Q. Now we are going to combine these two and we are going to construct the truth table for, what is it, P and Q implies R. So for that, what we are going to do, we are going to again write down the P and Q tables, and then we are going to construct the truth table. So let us do that now. So we are now going to construct the truth table for this statement, P and Q implies R. So for this I am just going to write P, Q, R. Now you can see we have three statements, P, Q, R. So you can see what I am writing over here, F, F, F 4 times, okay, and then T, 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 T. So total number of outcomes for this statement are 8. Now F, F, T, T, and then again F, F, T, T. Now the R value will be FT, 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 and we are going to write this as P and Q implies R. So earlier we saw the steps for P and Q, and we also saw the steps for P implies Q. Okay, so now we have to combine everything. So P and Q, both F and F, so both false, so the outcome is false. False implies false, so implied outcome is true. Now P and Q both false, so the outcome is P and Q is false. Now false implies true, so the outcome is true. Now false and true, the outcome is false. False implies false, again the outcome is true. Now false and true is false, and false implies true, again true. Now true and false, the outcome is false, so false implies false, true. Now after that, true and false, okay, the outcome is false. False implies true, so the outcome is true. Now after that, so how many have we done? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have come to the last two. Now true and true, okay, so the outcome is true. True implies false, so the outcome is false. Now true and true, true and true implies true, the outcome is true. So only in one particular instance we are getting the outcome as false. In which particular instance are we getting this outcome as false? When the combination of the first is true and implies false. So when it is true implies false, that time we are getting the combination as false, right? In all the other cases we are getting the truth table as true. So in this manner we have solved this particular question. I hope you have followed. In case you wish to go back to any section of the video, you can, and try to once again understand. So in the comments section, if you have understood, you can write the word understood. Thank you.